This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, well, we are officially going to be Martian soon. This week, we were just checking this out right before the podcast started, but so like a bunch of satellites, or what are they, Vish? They're landing on Mars?
Yeah, some of them are like satellites. They're orbiting Mars. I think the NASA one will be landing on Mars.
Okay.
Perseverance, I think it's called.
And like that's a rover?
Yeah, it'll be able to move around, but it's doing some crazy stuff before it lands.
Yeah, we were checking out the two versions of like the old way they used to land on Mars, which is like essentially packing like styrofoam packing in a box, and they would just hit the surface, and then it would bounce continuously, and then it would unravel its like packaging, so it would keep the thing protected. And I remember that like being a kid. When did do you know when that video you showed me with like the packaging?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, right?
Long time ago.
I remember when they first talked about that, and we like saw a video of it while I was in school, and I was like, whoa, this is... But it seems so advanced at the time, but that when you watch this new NASA video where it's like they're using like cameras to detect where the landscape is, and like and like
I guess it's just like the growth of technology and stuff, because what was then was like we couldn't do those things at that point, but it was landing. They had to already have a site planned out where it would land that is safe for it to land.
Right. And now it's almost like using like Tesla's autopilot by seeing the landscape. It's like, okay, I can land here.
Yeah,
you know,
in between like rough terrain, it can pick a good spot.
Yeah, which is pretty gnarly. Like we've come pretty far in, I guess, maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, but I was thinking like how interesting this coincided with the fact that we watched The Martian this week, and we like saw Inspiration 4 got announced at the Super Bowl. Right. But that had been actually, like, we actually talked about that in the last podcast, and then it got announced at the Super Bowl, and it's like, oh, cool, like they're doing a real massive push to it. Because remember Elon was saying like we want to drive inspiration towards like everyone becoming an off-world species. Yeah. But all right, if you're listening to this, you can't see the picture that Vish is showing, but like the mathematics to send something to Mars. So like I was watching the Elon podcast with Joe Rogan, and it's so technical. Like the other ones were like philosophical, and they're like kind of funny, but this one he's just like spitting out major stuff. Like Joe's like asking him like, oh, how does this work? And then he's explaining it. But I never thought about how, remember we were watching The Martian, and I was like, well, how are they doing the math? Well, it should be pretty simple because there's no atmosphere. So if you're sending something with a specific velocity, it should carry that velocity so long as nothing gets in its way, right? Because it's a vacuum. Yeah. So there's nothing like slowing its inertia down or whatever. Okay. But then he was explaining, because like Joe's like, oh, how do you make it faster? Like, he's like, so it's about 6 months to hit Mars, and Elon's like, yeah, but we could probably cut that down to 3. And Joe's like, how do you do that? So you know that game where you drop the coin and then it spins toward the circle?
Yeah.
He's like, that's how gravity works. So at the center of that circle is essentially the sun. So all of our planets are moving around in a specific circle with their own ellipses.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, we just have to catch... like right now what we're doing is at the top of the ellipses, that's when we land on Mars. So like it's like a perfect coinciding.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what he's saying is if we shoot off a little earlier, we catch it as it's going towards the ellipses, not at the top ellipses itself. You know what I'm saying? But like, all right, so if you're listening, this is probably making no sense. Go check out that Joe Rogan podcast on Spotify to see what I'm talking about, like that scene where he's explaining gravity. But it's like, yeah, I never thought, I thought you think it's all in a straight line, but it's like actually everything is curved.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, wow, how do they do the math for that? Like you must be like so genius to like come up with all the, because then you have to he was saying like you have to also take into account like the gravitational pull of every other planet too.
The moon is involved in this too.
Yeah, so it's like you're shooting these curves, and like these curves are affected by other poles, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. Space just seems really.
Well, that's why they plug them into equations, and a lot of the stuff is done through computer, right?
Yeah, like super, like in the scene where Donald Glover's like jacking in, and then he's using the supercomputers to ensure his calculation.
And they're exactly.
Yeah. That's weird. It's weird to like think that, wow, these people are so good at mathematics that they can.
Well, I mean, like they went with even more rudimentary stuff when they went to the moon. So
that's what I mean. It's like wow. Now you're calculating, like if you look at the way the Martian rover first landed as compared to now, and then like the technology we use to get to the moon as compared to what they're creating now to get like to Mars, and like Elon Musk's like SpaceX rocket that's going to use like side thrusters to like angle the way it's going to touch down, and right. We're in a really intense path towards, you know, like tech's becoming crazy is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think all this, especially with these Mars missions, is other countries that are getting involved. It seems like the push to Mars is real.
You know, we're definitely going to become Martians. You know, like the only one that was really hyping it up that I knew of was like Elon Musk. But then when you show him his video, I was like, oh, NASA's going too, and then you're like, oh yeah, UAE too, China's going too. It's like, oh wow, they're all really pushing for it now.
Yeah,
you know. But he said it's still going to take a long time before. There's an actual colony
right. Of course, yeah, but I can see it now building up, like see it
totally
happening more like clearly.
Well, once it was sci-fi, now it's like, oh, this is reality. Yeah. The remember, like I read that Elon book, and it was saying like everything is all about, like, even though he's creating like Solar City, Tesla, all this stuff, it's like his primary mission is to off-world the species on Mars. And then I was saying like, okay, that makes sense now why everything's electric, because that's the only power source you'll be able to get on Mars, right? There's going to be no like factories there that can like generate energy. You'll have to like use the sun's rays. You'd have to harness that. Like it's the only power source, right? And then he was saying like, on Joe, he was saying like, yeah, the only energy, I mean, the only thing that they'd have to bring back is rocket fuel, because that's the only thing you can't generate on there. You know? Yeah. I'd be like, I mean, it's kind of freaky, but yeah, I guess that's why I wouldn't go. But it seems like really freaky. You'd be stranded there, like the Martian, right? It's like, what are you gonna do on this planet? You don't have any resources. You're the only ones there. Like, yeah. Well, it's gonna take some brave people.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, the ones who went to the moon, it's the same kind of thinking. You know what you're doing. You're taking all the precautions you can, but you know that there's also a chance you won't be coming back home.
Yeah.
That's the kind of risks that anyone has taken that have expanded any kind of like global, like to reach where we're at now. It's like
you needed to take those kinds of risks. Yeah. He was saying that it's the ads for Mars are going to be much like the ads for Antarctica. It's like, are you okay with danger, being hungry, being cold,
right,
all that stuff? If you are, this mission's for you. And it's like, we, like at our core, we are explorers. Like that is what, like human, like we're herd animals, right?
Yeah.
Even though we built up these cities and then we think that we're like pretty sedentary, but at our core, it's all about like searching.
We're still nomads.
Yeah,
in a way, right? Yeah, we still kind of are, right?
And this is like the next evolutionary stage in that nomadic journey, you know, like instead of, because we've already like seen most of Earth, we might as well just go.
Yeah, we've colonized most of the islands and stuff. Whatever happened in between, now the whole world is connected, right?
Yeah.
Next thing is to connect the planets.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and he talked about now that you talk about like how connected we are, he talked about Starlink, and he was saying that, I didn't even know this, but like in major cities where there's lots of clusters, you would rely on 5G because of like the density. Like 5G is better for like spreading internet. But then if you're out in the outskirts, you can use Starlink, which is like, I guess like a 4G version of it. But like I'm not sure like what the whole mathematics or like the science is behind it. But yeah, he's like, it's better in clusters for 5G, and then like out in the outskirts, it's better for his Starlink.
Because there's still lots of part of, even in rural America, they don't have great internet.
So what if you're like, oh, what is Starlink? Starlink is satellites that will provide really, really high speed internet. He's saying that you'll be able to play like fast Twitch games and like stream things no problem with Starlink. Okay. And there's no wire; it's just straight satellite.
Yeah.
You know, but with that, what I found interesting as well, he was mocking the people that believe Corona was created by 5G, and he was saying to like Joe that he would have no problem strapping 5G phones like around his body and on his like crotch.
Okay.
And he would like, yeah, there's no risk of cancer. I was like, really? Like, you believe in it that much? There must be something if like you're willing to take that risk, you know? Because I'm sure he looked into it, and he was saying like, it's the novices that are really loud, but when you talk to the real experts about it, they're like, this is no problem. Yeah, we're becoming like a quickly connected society. I wonder what's going to happen when you bring ultra high speed internet to like rural parts or like remote parts of the globe.
Yeah, you're connecting people to
more information, right? Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like how many people know that other stuff is out there? You know, like I feel like the internet. Really,
I think it's in a way like, I think people who are not in like good positions or wherever they're from, like sometimes from these places come brilliant minds, right?
Yeah,
I think
totally.
this is what it's just positive in general.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially because if you're like in those rural places and you got really nothing to do and you're just like learning, you know, because there's so many online courses you can take and like whatever. Yeah, it's like, what's that, hillbilly elegy?
Yeah.
Actually, that brings me to well, all right, we'll finish the space topic and then we'll move into that one. But yeah, hillbilly elegy, where he like leaves and then he gains his understanding and he comes back. I still haven't finished it because it's so dark. Like it just made me feel so bad. Yeah, but yeah, Middle America, like it's like on the teetering edge of what it once was, because like manufacturing and all that. But before we move on to that, Inspiration 4. So essentially anyone can sign up to this thing. Like that's what they made it sound like in the Super Bowl. Remember we checked out the website and there's like specific things you have to like hit. It's like,
well, they're trying to raise money for these things, and if you are doing that, that's part of the thing. So anyone technically can, but you got to meet these things.
So it's not like just because you're a big fan of it, it's like you can't just go.
Yeah.
Like they're choosing people who, like I remember there was like
I didn't read through it clearly enough, so I can't really.
But I remember there were like this person gets a seat if they can do this. This person gets a seat if they can do this. It's fully paid for, but like you have to be able to do.
Yeah, they're just raising money for some charity stuff. So that's kind of the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad. Like the fact that it's free is great.
Yeah.
If you had to pay for this would like no.
But also like by helping out charity too at the same time, right? So
true. That's
what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's good. It's good overall. I'm stoked for it. But inspiration for also, if you're wondering, it's not going to Mars. It's just orbiting Earth and then coming back down. The first commercial.
But again, it's like these little steps. Like that'll be the first commercial ever.
Yeah. And then people are like, oh, okay, so commercial things can work and like blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool.
And then it's to the moon and back, and then it's to Mars and beyond.
What I find weird though is like if you don't know that this is coming or you haven't been paying attention to it, you probably think this sounds crazy. You know what I mean? Like if you never remember, I told you, like I keep going back to the story, but during that like work lunch, and then they were talking about like some shows that they were watching, and I was like, oh, you guys ever hear of like Neuralink? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, they're Elon Musk is strapping like chips to people's brains, and they're like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, totally, it's real. You know?
Yeah. I don't think majority of people don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't really know.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of Neuralink,
at least inspiration for kind of put it out there.
Because of the Super Bowl thing. Yeah. Because I mean, I didn't even know about this NASA mission, right? Like when you played that thing just now, I was like, oh, I thought it was just Elon Musk that was aiming for Mars. I didn't know like UAE, China, and like...
Yeah. Well, I remember like because they all launched like in very close to each other within a month or so.
Right.
Countries launched. So now they're reaching Mars.
Yeah, because there's like a 4 to 6 month window.
If it was July, it's about 6 months, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But speaking of Neuralink, Grimes posted that like Elon's not wife, but I don't think it's wife.
No.
Right? Yeah, so Elon's partner, she said that she would be getting Neuralink, and I think it was Lil Uzi Vert, but I can't remember.
Probably, yeah.
The dude with the diamond in his head.
I think so.
They were saying like, they both said like, yeah, we'll have the knowledge of gods. Yeah, it makes sense, you know. So they're up first for, I guess, human trials for Neuralink. Like they'd be open to it. I mean, I would get it too, as long as it didn't hurt, and yeah, and it didn't like my body didn't reject it.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing.
It's funny. I don't know if I brought this up before, but there's like Evan Britton, who was the previous co-host of the Mike Tyson podcast. So like he left that podcast, and he was saying on his I was watching like the little post he made about why he left, and he was saying like there's a divergence in this world right now between like the nature lovers and the tech people.
Okay.
And they were like, you got to pick a side. And I was like, wow, this is more division, but okay, whatever. But also at the same time, it's like, yeah, but isn't that creating, like, if you don't find a balance between the two, isn't it weird that, okay. So if you think about technology now, people without social media or no connection to social media, it's almost like you're not here, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Not that you're not here, because like I'm sure those nature people be like, that's why we're off the grid, you know, but like it's almost like you're going to be left behind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But if there's significant people that are also on the other side, it's not necessarily left behind. They're just going to create a group of whatever, right?
Right, like anti-technologists. But actually, if you look at the consumer funnel, the consumer curve, right? The early adopters, late majority, laggards. So they're probably just gonna be laggards, because like at the end they'll have to get like an iPhone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just can't not get an iPhone.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like some technology.
Yeah. I know.
Not necessarily iPhone.
Right.
Even a flip phone, something like that. You know, you'll need to be connected to the world, because it's like it'll be way too pervasive. Yeah. It would be cool to see, like, that's what I try and do, like, strike a balance between the two, like, tech and no tech, even though it seems like, you know, tech is where we're obsessed.
Right.
Yeah. Just, yeah, I just found that interesting that like even on that level, like people are creating a division, you know, like
but then, you know,
red versus
people
blue,
will create
in group, out group,
yeah.
tech, no tech, you know, it's like, all right, why can't we just unify or just like whatever you like, you know? Why you need to be like anti-tech?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? Makes no sense. But okay, so that is a semi good segue into American Factory. So I checked that out. You saw it a while ago and it won all these awards.
Yeah, and I think a best documentary on Oscars. So I watched it when that happened. After that happened.
Well, yeah. So essentially, it's Middle America has lost their jobs because of the 2008 crisis. So this Chinese factory comes in, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna bring some of our workers there, and like we're gonna try and build up Middle America, right?
Right.
And in that you see like a lot of cultural division between East and West, because like there's the way they go about their work is different, right? So like if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's on Netflix, and it's such an eye opener because I didn't understand the premise behind it, because like usually documentaries have an agenda, right? But this one was like, you don't know if they're trying to make like the Chinese people look bad or like Middle America look bad, you know?
Yeah.
But then what was Wob saying? He's like, it's just they're just documenting it, right?
Yeah,
and then you pull your own conclusions.
Right.
But like from that, it's like you really do see a lot of the nature and the characteristics of each culture, right? Like the Chinese people, even though they work like ridiculously long hours, they see their work as like their life, you know?
Yeah.
And like they take everything as like very militant, like how in their Chinese factories they lined everyone up, they had to like shout those words and stuff. I was like, oh, it's like martial arts, we do that all the
tried
time.
to do that in the American one,
and it didn't work, and it was like, ooh, that was awkward.
Yeah.
You know, but remember, like my favorite line is when he was saying Americans are prideful when they shouldn't be, and it's like a donkey, when you pet it with against the grain, you run the risk of being kicked. So give them lots of like praise and like all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, that does seem to be like where their head is at, you know?
It seems like that, but I don't know if that's necessarily true though.
Culturally,
like,
you mean?
Yeah. It's just like, I think it's just they've already, well, a lot of those ones lost the jobs that they were making good money, right? And coming back to this is still like, you're not making the same amount of money.
Right, that one girl who went from $29 an hour to $14. Yeah. Well, that's brutal.
Right. So, and they had benefits too, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So like those sort of things are, I think a lot of those are like that for them. Like, they're working, but it's not the same. Right.
Totally. Yeah. It's funny, like before watching that doc, actually that doc really opened my eyes, because remember I was like with the whole pandemic thing, right? I was like, oh, if you're a business owner, why don't you just like change your business? Remember, but looking back now, it seems so I did say on that podcast it sounded a little callous, but like looking back, it does seem even more callous, because when you watch these Middle America people, you're like, I can't be like, hey man, remember that learn to code thing that was going around? Like your jobs are going to be lost, so learn to code.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that seems pretty callous now, because it's like, yeah, you lived your you're like 45 years, you're old now. Yeah. But what I found most interesting in that doc was like, so they were trying to create a union at the factory to give themselves more benefits.
Yeah.
And then, but I was like, why are you going to bite the hand that feeds? You know, it's like,
well, they had unions before.
Sure, they had unions before, but it's like, but that's not what the Chinese guy was used to, right? He didn't want any unions.
Well, yeah,
because it would create more hurdles, and like you have to spend more money.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, I mean, the union's job is generally to just protect workers, right? So
totally. But then it's funny because in the beginning of the doc, that one guy was so happy because he was like, oh, I haven't worked in a year, and like this is the first job, like I'm so grateful for it. So it's like seeing like how that started, and then all of a sudden it went from like gratefulness to I want more. You know,
it was. I think they were more focused around the safetyness for workers, right? So that was what the union was. That's what they were trying to vote for, the union, but it didn't work because the younger generation doesn't.
Right.
They didn't like. They needed jobs. They don't have jobs.
Well, what they said was, well, one of the young persons that was in the thing was saying like, oh, if they hadn't had those meetings where they're educating them on what the union would do, they wouldn't have switched their vote.
Yeah.
Because like it again, but then it goes back to like propaganda. Like what? Like that's all you really do. Like you're like essentially lobbying, but like like it's like why are we so herd in our mentality? You know, like with like it's like you have a good idea, the one person shouting the loudest, and then they interject some like objectivity in it with these meetings, and they switch their minds. You know, it like it was hitting on those points as well. It's like we don't know best. We're just listening to the loudest person in the room.
Right. Well, we're just listening to them, but then they all vote on it, right?
Yeah, but like us listening, like how she said, like, oh, I wouldn't have switched my mind if it wasn't for those meetings. Like it like so like.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like is the union a good or bad thing? We're not going to look at it objectively because you didn't see it recently, but like the whole union thing started like very pastorally, very like churchish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and it was riling everyone up. And then so what they did, the Chinese people did, was they put in these meetings to explain what the unions would actually do. And then that created some objectivity because people are like, okay, well, this is the other side of it. Like, now I'm going to vote against the union.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just so many layers to that documentary that it's pointing to a lot of flaws in, I guess, American society.
I don't know about that. That's just society.
Okay. I see your point. Yeah, because it is just society, but like
it happens everywhere, right?
Like what do you mean?
No, I mean like, well, what do you mean by like it's only American society? Like they change their mind based on getting other information, right?
Oh, right, no, right, but it was like law, like propagandish, like do they even know why they wanted the union?
Well, there's, I guess, the union, if you just think of it generally, it just means protecting workers, right?
Totally.
So if you just think of it only as that.
Right, but it's like, but what do you, you know what I mean? It's like, are you looking at like the superficial boilerplate sentence, or are you looking at what you're actually doing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that comes with any information, right? I can just only see one. If I'm only seeing one perspective, then I think that's probably the right perspective. Then if I see the other perspective, oh wait, now I'm getting imbalanced here. So that's what they were doing, was like, oh wait, here's other things about unions that are problems. Right. But the other side is only showing you positive, right?
Right.
For union, and then why no union. So it's like, then they're like, so they're making a decision. It's like, oh, then they have both sides to make a decision.
Yeah, totally. Okay, all right. Let's break it down into like who.
Again, I don't remember what the exact stuff was in the movie because I'm just trying to.
Right. Totally. I'm just saying like it wasn't a very favorable American film, but it was made by an American on American. That's why I was confused by it. I'm like, are you trying to show me that like the Chinese were bad or the Americans?
I don't think they were
bad?
showing anyone was bad. It was just, this is what it is.
Yeah. And then it ended with automation.
It's basically the message in this whole thing. You got all these people's stories and people losing jobs, but then it's like at the end of it, wait, they're all going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah, true. So is it like an existential crisis? Like no matter what it is that we do,
like at the end, I remember like when they were showing him the factory. It's like, oh, we've shifted this area from
we can get rid of 4 workers.
Yeah, we can get rid of 4 workers, and they're speaking in Chinese.
Yeah.
And then like, so it's like they don't even know. The workers don't understand what's going to happen to their job.
What they're saying as they're walking around. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But from the Chinese owner's perspective, remember he was like, I don't know if I'm helping or harming. I came here to like help, but now it seems like I'm harming like everything, you know?
Yeah, but that just means you're human too, right? No, like everyone's human. Doesn't matter which level you're at. It's like
true. I think like I gotta ease off the throttle on like all of the like societal dissection things that I'm like intaking because like I read the manufacturing consent, so I was already primed with like seeing how propaganda worked and then watching that happen in like the factory itself. It's like, whoa, or like another example is like that analogy with the donkey, right? You have to like pet in the correct direction. He was using like Trump rhetoric. The
because
Chinese dude.
Well, yeah, because so like, generally those people are in that area. A majority would be Trump supporters.
Yeah.
So that's why he would use those rhetorics.
Right. So it's like look how
you have to know. It's kind of like knowing your audience.
Right. But it's like look how hurting we are as a society. We're just like I put this up, but like humans are animals looking for an alpha. An alpha is a human who is clever or cunning enough to take control of the herd.
Okay.
Right. So it's like all these herded like manufacturers, and then the Chinese dude's like, I'm just gonna play to your whims here. I'm gonna tell you guys are great. But he did like one of you workers is going to get all expenses paid trip to Shanghai, and they were like, oh wow, I'm gonna increase productivity, you know? And it's like, dude, we're just
I don't know if that works for everybody.
No, it does.
It will work for some.
Sometimes you need a carrot, sometimes you need a stick. But it's like it was interesting with, you know, it's very like it's very telling, that documentary, even though there was no. But I guess maybe that's why I was confused, because like it wasn't trying to show you anything. It's like just showing. Well, it wasn't trying to like sway your opinion. It was just showing you how like herd we are as an animal.
Yeah, I think what she said, like we saw that like their Oscar speech, is the only thing I guess would make sense, like workers unite. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, true.
Because they're all workers.
But at the end of the day, like if robots take over, then what? Robots in terms of like automation, like
exactly.
one, like when no, I was just explaining it, but like how like if instead of like getting 2 people to move a sheet of glass over and then like bend it or whatever, they just got a robot that knows how to like is strong enough to move that thing over and bend it itself, you know? Yeah, so that's also why Elon Musk was making a strong case for UBI, because he's like, we know that these manufacturing trucking jobs are going to be over.
I mean, they themselves are creating automated trucks.
Yeah. So I think that's why he knew. He's like, oh, we're wiping out an entire business. Yeah, so what do you do with all those people, right? Except for give them money and internet. Maybe that's why he's doing Starlink, bro. He's like, what are you going to do in middle America with no job, no money? Give you UBI and give you entertainment.
Yeah, well, they got to pay for all that, so.
Who?
You got to pay for Starlink.
Yeah, but if you can have calculate it out with UBI.
Right,
I mean, that's why UBI. You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like that kind of...
It might go in that direction because, well, we'll have to see if they make those kinds of tax rules. Depending on how many workers you have and then how much automation you have, you got to pay a certain extra amount of tax to cover UBI.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that could be like such a... I didn't see the full Wall-E, but I think Sid was talking about it. But like at the end, they're just like in these chairs and they're just watching things, right?
Yeah.
And like that could actually become where we go, you know? Just give them freaking a wireless internet that's extremely high speed and money. Just sit around and entertain yourself.
Right, yeah. Well, then once you have AI, then AI would probably realize they don't need us.
Yeah, that's the scary part of that's the scary part of the whole thing, actually.
That we would be pointless.
Yeah, we would essentially be pointless, except for the people that are like progressing things like Elon Musk. Like you still need engineers.
No,
to
I'm saying like once
things.
you have AI, it'll think for itself.
Yeah, right.
To the point it doesn't need people.
That's why Elon Musk is scared of AI.
That's why he said that too. Yeah, we should be putting in regulations now.
Yeah, because you might accidentally create something that realizes that and just figures out a way to like wipe us all out. Again, that sounds like sci-fi fantasy, but it's like, no, we're actually really close to all of this, you know? Mm-hmm. Like even I think I talked about this before, but like smartwatches, right? Like the biometrics, like you're basically a robot, you know? If you can measure all of your bodily rhythms, you know? And then it tells you like, hey, you're actually, this happened once. We were watching a movie and my heart rate was getting elevated because I was like, oh my God, this is a crazy scene. And then my watch started buzzing. It was like, warning, warning, warning. You're hitting an elevated, like an atypical heart rate. Yeah. And I was like, oh crap. And then I had to like shut it off. But I was like, wow, I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for the watch. You know what I mean? Like we're scarily becoming like robots, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then with Neuralink, we'll become like even more integrated as robots.
Yeah, that's the only way, I guess, to be on the same level. That's the point of Neuralink.
Yeah. So instead of having to like actually type in anything to Google it, you just instantly know the answer. Yeah. It's kind of freaky as well. You definitely, I get why Grimes was like, we'd have the knowledge of gods, because it's like, yeah, if you can just, like, it takes me like, let's say 10 minutes to, not 10 minutes, like 3 minutes, let's say, to Google what something is and then read about it. If you can get that instantaneously by like integrating a chip into your head, oh man, you're essentially like infinite. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I could see this as being like a movie. You set off like an EMP bomb, and then right, and then it's like you don't have that ability anymore. We're all on an even playing field again.
Right. It could be, yeah.
Right.
Then we start from scratch.
Oh, dude, that's what it is. It's the Earth people, like the people that are nature lovers, and then you have like the thing I was saying.
Yeah, right.
The two camps, and then the Earth people. They like set off the EMP bomb. They're like, welcome back to reality.
Yeah, but then they're using technology.
I know. I was about to say, yeah. It's crazy. Actually, speaking of herd beings, with the Bitcoin thing, the Dogecoin, a lot of people are so confused about like Elon's motives on this whole thing.
Yeah.
And what was that? What was that line? They said low key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
LOWKEY, low key, and then Loki.
Loki, the god of chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like mischief. Yeah.
Mischief.
But so it's like simply by putting out these tweets, all of these people are like investing in Dogecoin, investing in Bitcoin. It's like, that's even more like the herd mentality we're talking about, you know? Yeah. It's kind of freaky.
Yeah. I think, he's just a trickster. That's what he's just memeing and stuff, and people are just falling for it.
And remember that thing that he that tweet that he replied to, where you're like where he's like, I'm confused. Do you actually think it's going to be?
Yeah, I forgot what it is. Do you remember what he said back?
No, I don't remember what he said back. But he didn't answer it. He just like said another trolling thing.
Yeah. He didn't answer directly. Yeah.
But see, even like that person being like, I don't know if you're serious or you're joking about this. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I should invest in Bitcoin. It's like, you were saying there's even regulations. He can't promote Bitcoin if he's an investor in it.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not sure about Bitcoin. Maybe not, because it's not like under stocks, right?
There's a stock for Bitcoin.
No, but it's not like, it's a bit. I don't know. It's maybe there's like confusing rules with Bitcoin.
Okay, but
it's not under like SEC stuff.
Okay, but under SEC, if you own a stock, you can't actively promote it.
Yeah, but they're not owning a stock; they're owning money.
Right. So do you think he's being serious, or do you think he's trolling about the whole Bitcoin Dogecoin thing?
Him personally, I don't know, but I mean, Tesla did buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, which is interesting too. And you were saying like, if you buy Bitcoin, it's a potential way to avoid taxes.
I don't know. I'm thinking that, but I have no idea.
Right.
That's true.
But I mean that could make sense.
Could make sense because there's no like international fees or anything like that.
Yeah, and
so.
where whose taxes are you going to pay if Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's not tied to a nation, right? Yeah. I guess the only taxes you pay is the interest made off of Bitcoin. Because you pay tax on interest, they consider it income. So, but if he doesn't sell it and he holds on to that, and then who would pay taxes for Bitcoin?
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. If you can buy the car with Bitcoin, then there's no tax. Is that how that works? Or?
Yeah, but I think if you buy it with Bitcoin, it would either be overvalued or undervalued because we don't know because Bitcoin's so volatile.
Yeah.
So it's like, what day did you buy it on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if they will do it.
Yeah, he did say that, right? You in the future you could buy.
Yeah, I don't know if he directly said that or
somebody else said it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But see, that's my problem with Bitcoin. It's like, because there's no direct value in it, it's like you can either, like on a Monday, it's like worth a lot. So, you're paying a lot for the car with your Bitcoin. And then like on a Tuesday, it's like down. So it's like, oh, I should have bought it on Tuesday because the Bitcoin price is low.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what is it?
He was replying to Elon's tweet, and he just wrote, "I'm an alien."
Oh yeah, because aliens came up in the podcast.
Yeah, it was something about Elon Musk may end up. This guy's writing, tweeting, like Elon Musk may end up running 500 billion companies simultaneously at a relatively young age. Blah blah blah, some other stuff, and then Elon just said, "I'm an alien."
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, see, trolling. So it's like, how can you take anything he says on his Twitter seriously?
Yeah, but I mean, there are some like,
but that is weird.
There's a troll bit, and then there's like a normal one. It's like, oh, ray tracing on Cyberpunk with HDR is next level. Have you tried it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, but it's like there's that's not a serious thing,
No, like, I know. But it's like that's why people are confused with this guy.
but
if you know him long enough, you see, like I've followed him for a long time. Like I know this guy. He loves memeing stuff. So
right. So like, but if you look at it like that, it's like if you look at him for your investment advice, that's a problem. That's just, you're just a herd then,
Right. Oh yeah, I found the confused one.
All right, cool.
Like he sent a meme like the one coin to rule them all, which was the Bitcoin thing, and then someone wrote,
Elon sent that out.
Yeah, Elon sent that out, and someone had written out, does this mean crypto as a whole will be the future currency, or are you basically declaring Bitcoin as the future? Because I'm actually confused. Lol. And then he just wrote, Dodge is underestimated. He's not answering anything.
Right, yeah. So it's like,
he's just messing with you.
So now when he writes Dodge is underestimated, boom, everyone's gonna like,
go ahead, Josh.
Oh, let's put our money in it.
And it did go up.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like that's why I think it's so funny, because we're following the whole GameStop thing, and like GameStop turned into like those weed stocks, and then Bitcoin and like Dogecoin. So if you want to watch like herd mentality at its finest and like social psychology, just watch those stocks go up and down according to what people like Elon tweet out, or like those Reddit forums. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's weird. Yeah, any other final things about that?
No, I mean, there's always stuff going on. If you follow his tweets, it's always funny.
Yeah, it's a great source of entertainment and investment advice. So another crazy movie that you should definitely check out is The Platform. So essentially it's like they take all of these like societal aspects, like religion. So the premise of the movie is that there's like X number of layers, right? And food, the full banquet is at the top, and then as it gets lower and lower, the food decreases because people are eating. So like starting at level 1, if you're at level 1, you eat all the food you want. Level 2, you get the remainders of level 1. Level 3, the remainders of level 2, and so on until you hit level 200. They got to, and there's no food left, right? So like this is it's almost like a statement about like trickle down economics.
Yeah. It's basically that.
Right? Yeah. And it was interesting too, because like at each level, you were trying to figure out how to get like high. Remember the black guy, and he's like, "Oh, I want to get up there," and then they were like he was using like Christian values. Like he was like, God is here and he wants me to bring you up, and they were like, oh yeah, what did God say? And then like God says that he'll give you rewards in heaven if you let me come up one layer, right? And then like, you know, it really shows like that is what we did like through the Christian Crusades, and like if you can rule people through ideas,
right?
Yeah. And then the final message in the movie is like, we need to return back to innocence because the little kid was on the bottom layer. So it was almost like they buried the humanity, and then they were bringing the humanity back to the top because they brought the kid on the food platter plate. And then, so like once it hits the end, the platter that like was going through each level returns to the top. So they put the kid on that and then shot back up to the top. Yeah, I just thought it was good.
It was a good movie. The message it was portraying.
Yeah. And like how many aspects of society,
like it was a bit like, how selfish can you be, or can you act collectively, think of others? Yeah,
totally.
There's a lot of these kinds of questions they were basically trying to show.
And they were showing like different versions of like helping other people, like through the girl. There was a girl in there who like worked for the system, and then she was dying, so she's like, okay, let me help these people by like showing them like that if we ration out, we could all get food.
Yeah.
And then like it wasn't working. She was trying to use is essentially like protesters, you know, and it's like they were just using their voice, and then the people at the lower levels are like, well, you're on an upper level, so you can speak like that because you've already been fed. But us at the lower level, we're just like fighting for scraps.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I need to release the throttle on the societal dissection, because like that movie freaked me out too, because I was like, that really is what we live like. You know, we live in Western societies and with like abundance to food and technology, and like you see different places around the world with like nothing.
Yeah.
Like starvation and like, yeah, good movie. Definitely check that one out. The Platform on Netflix. It was it like a Spanish movie?
I think it's a Spanish movie.
Yeah, but there's English TIFF movies, like all these TIFF movies. The American Factory and The Platform are both like TIFF movies.
Oh, they are TIFF movies.
Yeah, it said on the thing. It was like TIFF award winner or something like that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But it made me think about how wrong I was with just like the naive optimism that the guy had in the beginning, because like you're watching it, you should probably watch it and then come listen to this after. So because you're like, I don't know, you guys are trying to go watch that doc, pause, and then jump back to this, but that movie, and then jump back to this. But he started off as like a idealist,
right?
You know, he believed like, oh, if we just share, you know, which is socialism, you know, if we all just share our resources, we could all be fed. But then it's like the greediness of
others,
and the capitalist system, like the ones at the top, having all the food.
I mean, to eat so much like that, you just feel sick after. That's what I was thinking.
Because they were like gorging themselves, right? So they could only eat once a day, and then it would go down to the lower levels. But like, why did the ones at the top need to eat so much? But I mean, like, that's also like asking the question, why do they need so much money?
That's right. It's basically asking that kind of question. It is just it's like, a
why
message.
Is there a 1%?
Yeah. Do they need to be billionaires?
Yeah, exactly. How much
money do they really need?
Crazy doc. Crazy movie. So final thing, do you think it's the end of COVID?
Oh, Um, maybe end of this year. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, I was thinking no. I keep going back and forth on this one. When the year started, I was like, no, there's no way. Right? Because like, because like, how could you logistically?
Well, back to norm
everything?
again with that. It's a bit. I guess I have to be more precise on what that means, right?
Okay, so what I mean is like, when is everything gonna be, in a way that it's like we can internationally travel, we can go around without worrying.
Yeah, that might take a little bit of time for that kind of thing.
I'm thinking like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
before we can like fully just travel.
I think for people to feel more comfortable doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But what do you think about Canada being fully open like it once was?
Yeah, I think that'll still take a little bit of time, but I think like
it'll be in this year.
Maybe the start of next year, like the end of this year, we should have low numbers in the way people will feel more safe to just kind of go out.
So do you think this lockdown's going to end in 2021, or do you think it'll be 2022?
I'll say 2021. It'll end
2021. Okay. So I was deliberating with this. I was like, when this whole year first started, I was like, no way, because like logistically, it makes no sense that you would have everything ready, you know, like the vaccines, the sites to like inject people, et cetera, et cetera. And then we were talking to France, and then he was like, yeah, Montreal's got 800 people. So it went down like a substantial amount. Plus they're giving out vaccines now. So it's like, okay, if it's like a double pronged approach, like lockdowns plus vaccine, you're going to get those numbers down.
So yeah, what we're looking at here is like, there's 2 ways you're creating herd immunity, right?
Okay.
People who have had it and recovered from it.
Yeah.
And then the people that are getting the vaccines. You have 2 numbers, that percentage is going up, right?
Yeah.
So there should be a point where we reach herd immunity, where it starts to
where it's like
spread slower.
Yes, yeah, essentially, yeah. Like if the way I like to think is that we're attacking it from both sides. Like if we're trying to reach herd immunity, we have like the vaccine approach plus the lockdown approach equals we'll get to herd immunity faster. We'll wipe out the number of people that have it faster.
Yeah.
Right. And
but it depends on how many vaccines we can get.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's coming down to.
Right. So like the numbers going down in Montreal, it made me think like, oh, like it might actually be September. Like,
well, our numbers are going to go up and down.
Okay.
For now, like even though ours is down, it's like
we're down to like
when you reopen
in the thousands now.
Yeah. So when you reopen, it will start to tick back up again. Because we don't have right. And then again, we'll do another lockdown. It's playing the lockdown game here right now, and getting the vaccines out.
So
it's a mix. Yeah.
So okay, totally. So if everything goes correct, yes, we will. I agree with you. 2021. But now that I'm like thinking about it, because you still have to convince people to get the vaccine.
Yeah, I think most people want the vaccine. Like majority of people do want the vaccine. Okay,
and then there's convincing, then there's logistics. So what was the it goes from the US to Europe to us in Canada?
For what?
Like to get the vaccine?
No, it comes from Europe.
Yeah, from Europe, right?
Yeah.
But who makes it? Europe makes it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're not getting any supplies from America.
No. The rules there is just whatever they're making there has to be for Americans.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. But we don't have that here in Canada. We
can't make them here.
Yeah,
we don't have the facility to do so. So we're relying on outsider sources here, mainly Europe.
Right. So Europe, who does Europe supply as well?
Everybody in Europe.
Yeah. So
and other parts of the world probably.
So Europe, other parts of the world plus us. So logistically, it doesn't seem feasible again. Like so. When France was saying that, I was like, okay, cool. It does seem like it's going to be going away. And then as I thought about it more, and then like how, my sister's vaccine got pushed back, and like my mom's like on the waiting list because there's like short supply. It's like, oh, this might actually take a lot longer than like we're projecting.
Let's see what happens. Because in America, they have was it 44 million shots done? At least one shot.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. And they've had about a huge number of people who've got the coronavirus as well.
So
right?
they might actually
hit
herd immunity.
I don't know when, but yeah, like it's only one shot, so their second shot will happen like soon after, right? So
I think my cousin actually got both already.
He's got both. Yeah. So it's ramping up in America.
Yeah, totally. Wow, could you imagine they hit herd immunity first in the world?
Yeah, we'll see. I think it should be Israel that would hit it first.
Because their numbers are. Yeah.
They have per capita wise, they will reach it first. They're already done like 70%, at least one dose.
Do you know about China? How?
No, I can't. Their numbers are not.
Can't trust those numbers?
Yeah. We don't know anything about those numbers. And I don't know if they're getting like proper data or not. So
because I'm trying to think about like if you look at it as world economies, which world economy is going to rebound the first, because that one is going to be the stronghold for going forward, you know?
Right.
Yeah. If it is America, they might just stay at the top spot.
Yeah, but we don't know anything about the Chinese numbers though. Like
no, that's what I mean. But
they're I mean, from the beginning, only having 100,000 dead. Like,
oh yeah, true.
Or 100,000 cases. They're not dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah. That's true, because there's no like legal obligation for them to tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking. All right, so you're betting 2021. I'm betting 2022.
Like what? End of 2022 or start of 2022? Middle of 2022.
Middle of 2022.
Okay.
I'll say like maybe March 2022. There'll be no more lockdowns, and everything will be relatively normal. But we won't have international travel by then. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Because there's still a long way to go.
Because even if you have it, right, you still have a 5% chance of getting it. So like people probably won't want to take that risk. In like, let's say you go to like I want to travel to India or something, right? If I go to India and then I get it there, I have to pay the hospital fees. They're going to be crazy and all that.
Well, I think what this thing is doing, it's not like a cure, right? Not necessarily a cure.
No, it's not.
It's kind of like to prevent you from dying from it and to get any severe, like to make it act like symptoms. Just a flu for you.
Right.
And not something that could kill you.
Right, totally. Yeah. It'll be interesting too, like post-COVID, the economic ramifications. That we've said this before, but like that's something we're also not even thinking about, because like
so I don't know. Right, yeah, exactly. We don't know if it will revamp fast or it will take some time. Right.
That's the scary part, because like unemployment right now is like almost 10%. So that's
for Canada.
Yeah, so that's 1 in every 10 people. So it's like out of 10 people, 1 of us is unemployed.
Yeah.
And it's like, the issue there is most of those people are in like hospitality and tourism, because that's down.
That's right.
So if you don't open up the borders, so even if everything's okay in Canada, well, I guess if everything's okay in Canada, they just allow international people to come back, so those people get their jobs again. But what about the places that closed and are never coming back?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. So
it's like, I'm calling this here. I've been saying it for a while, but I'm calling this here. We're getting UBI at the end of this, 100%. It's not going to be called. It might be called UBI. Who knows? Just for like the voting purposes, but. If let's say this is another year of CRB, people without jobs, and then you're going to need a rebound benefit. There's going to be another version of CRB. Instead of the Canada Recovery Benefit, it's Canada Rebound Benefit, because like you have to give people money while they're still looking for jobs, right? And then the other crazy part is like it'll be 2 years without work experience. So who are you going to go up against? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then those industries that you once worked for are closed. So it's like, what transferable skills will you have? Right? So it's like, you have no transferable skills. You don't have relevant work experience in the close term.
Right.
what are you going to do except give people money to keep living and Starlink to be entertained? Right? Yeah. Manufacturing's down, transportation's down, tourism's down through automation and COVID. Yeah. So automation plus COVID equals a bunch of people who aren't working. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do with those people?
Yeah.
UBI.
Right.
That's why I'm calling UBI at the end of this.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know. That's a long way to go. I feel.
But do you think it logically makes sense?
No, you can break down anything to make sense, right?
Okay, true. But do you agree with my logical process?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's what CERB kind of was, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
CERB was, we didn't have that kind of thing before. We didn't think about CERB.
Nobody
all
thought
of a sudden,
CERB.
He's like, we're getting $2,000 a month.
Yeah, right?
A month, yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Nobody would have thought that before. So it's kind of like, yeah, it is a UBI version.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, CERB is essentially UBI just with a different name and a different purpose. But if you carry this out long enough, even if everything's back open, you have a 1 in 10 unemployment. Mm-hmm. People are going to need money. Their skills are going to be outdated. Might as well just keep them entertained. Do you think this is going on in the back of like Trudeau's head? It's got to be, right?
Probably, maybe. They got to be thinking of these sort of things. They're probably thinking of all sorts of scenarios, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's one step at a time. We need to know what's going on, like where we're at.
If this doesn't resolve itself by 2021, like the end of 2021, I don't see how UBI can not be on the table. For all the things I mentioned, you're out of work for 2 years. You have no relevant work. Like the people who are graduating are going to be competing with you for those jobs. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. True.
As you're going to bottleneck. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. For final thing, because I was very impressed with this. CAPTCHA.
What's that?
You know, like where like prove you're not a robot.
Oh yeah,
it's called CAPTCHA.
Okay.
So the person, I heard about this on the freaking podcast. So the person who invented that, it was a double prong thing. It was a way to not only ensure security, but to also build AI's ability to read information.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you know, like people write things, or like it's at the ATM too. If you put your check in, it can read the check without you having to. Right. But that was built up over AI systems using us as a means to like make it better. Because like when it's like it writes these things in like a picture, and then you have to like be like C4X, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. That technology I've noticed has transferred onto COVID, which is so freaky. So like if I post something and it doesn't say COVID in the text, but it says COVID in the picture, it will say we've placed a COVID link on top of this just in case, you know. So it's like, what else are they doing with that technology? You know?
Well, yeah, that all happened because of a ton of misinformation that was being spread.
Like, what do you mean?
Like earlier on with COVID.
That's why they used.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because in order to...
I'm talking about the tech stuff. Like, I didn't know
about the reason they were doing that was because there was so much misinformation going around.
Like pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 5G towers.
So they were like, wait, you got to do something here because this is not good.
Right.
So they implemented that.
So anything that has anything COVID related has a link now. Yeah. But you know what? Conspiracy theorists are going to be like, see? Trying to control you.
Well, of course, they're all going to think that anything is conspiratorial to conspiracy or
true.
People.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
In the words of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, don't panic. It'll all be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Till next week.
Mm-hmm.
See you on Mars.
Yeah.
We'll be on Mars by next week.
Free Britney.
What?
#Free Britney.
Oh yeah. Oh, what is that thing, dude?
I don't know. Just she doesn't have control over her money, so that's what they want.
And now there's a doc coming next week.
I think it's out.
Oh, it's already out.
It's out. It's probably in America though, not here. Or if you have FX and Hulu.
Dude, the internet's crazy, bro. People at home got nothing to do. All right, let's start this free Britney hashtag, bro. Yeah, herd mentality.
Yeah, well, that's what we are.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah, next week. All right, take it easy, Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.